Hi, and welcome to the 2010 Physics Banquet. Hi, I'm Mike Johnson.
And I'm Frank John Xavier Gelsomini III.
Both the students and professors have been working very hard this semester.
That's right, Mike. And they're looking for any excuse to take a nap.
Whoa! Tonight's going to be a bit different.
Why's that, Michael?
I thought you'd never ask. Tonight's events have been planned by the students themselves.
And speaking of students doing activities like research, a reporter on the field, Eric Nagy, comes to us with this special report.
Hi, I'm here at the Particle Accelerator Lab in the basement of Pansky. Here at UMS Lowell, there are lots of opportunities for students to try their hand in cutting-edge research, so I thought I'd give it a try. With all the research that's been done here in nuclear particle physics, there's really only one thing left to do. Experimentally determine the mass of the neutrino! Protons will come careening down this field, be bent like this magnet at 90 degrees, scream down this pipe, hit this target right here, and I'll be waiting with this high-tech net with neutrinos right here. Fire it up, Gunther!
We seem to have lost our feed. To give the professors an idea of what it's like to be a student, we're going to follow the everyman of students, John Smith. He has a rest mass of about 4.83 times 10 to the power of 37 electron volts per c squared, and is approximately 1.85 meters when not traveling at relativistic speeds. He was chosen mostly for his inability to notice cameras following him.
Enough chatter, Michael. Let's get to the action.
As you can see, his to-do list consists of making it to class, after which he has an advising appointment with Dr. Karakashian.
Ooh, it looks like he didn't quite finish that lab report which was due yesterday.
I hope that's not dramatic foreshadowing.
Oh, here's lab instructor Dr. Pullen.
I wonder what they could possibly be talking about.
There seems to be a lot of finger pointing.
You know, in some cultures, that is considered a sign of respect.
Is this one of them?
No.
Whoa. Can we see that again in slow motion here?
Yep. Just as I suspected. The look of incontinence-inducing terror.
I bet he's wishing he had that lab report done now.
Wow, I can't believe we didn't notice that the first time.
I hear Dr. Pullen actually has 2 CRCs, but only uses one for reference.
Yeah, the smaller of the two.
And now back to our reporter on the field, Eric Nagy, with a recap of what just happened.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Dr. Pullen. Dr. Pullen, would you like to explain to me what happened with Sean today?
Well, I don't normally talk about students behind their backs, but I'll certainly make an exception in his case because he's always late with his reports. And when I do get them, they're really inadequate. Look at this garbage that he gave me on his last report. It's terrible. I mean, there's no detail in there at all it won't do. And in fact, don't you owe me a report from last semester?
Wow.
Ooh. We seem to have lost our feed again. Let's go see how John is doing. So here we see John trying to get to class early.
Remember, Mike, if you're on time, you're late.
You are so right, Frank. But what is this?
Kevin doesn't seem to notice that John really needs to get to class.
Speaking of being observant, does Eric have a black eye?
That's probably unrelated to his work on the field.
Oh! Wow!
Ouch.
Jeez.
Talk about high-energy collisions.
Wait a second, where did Dara come from?
Well, you see.
These two students interacted through a process known as physically touching each other.
Is that so?
Yes. And because of the high speeds involved, a dara was emitted to conserve momentum.
It seems our ambitious field reporter has noticed that theoretical momentum-conserving student.
The net probably won't do him any good.
If only he had a large vat of perchloroethylene.
Ah. Didn't quite get her.
Looks like you finally made it to class.
Better late than never, huh, Mike? What class is it, anyway?
Statistical trends in stochastic processes? What does that even mean?
I can honestly say I don't know. The very concept seems counterintuitive. Even contradictory.
Well, it has pretty good attendance. It's probably a blow-off class.
I have to say I don't actually recognize some of these characters.
Some of the lesser-known Greek letters, I'm sure. But speaking of characters, get a load of these people.
That's what we saw written on the board earlier. I don't believe for a second that they are actually listening to the professor.
Those students look pretty attentive.
I don't know, Mike. Can we see that again in slow motion?
Wow! This is truly amazing. Slow motion really brings out the subtle details. Where did he even get one of those things? This is mind-blowing. Oh. And this guy, he's not even writing. Are those eyes painted on? I can't believe anybody would fall for that. Oh, here's a classic situation. Isn't that right, Frank? Frank.
That's right, Mike.
Were you sleeping? Come on, let's be professional here.
Sorry.
As I was saying, this is a classic case of what we like to call prairie dogging.
Ah, yes. When the student can't see the notes because the professor is in the way.
And by the time the student can actually see the notes, the professor is most likely already done with the lecture. On that note, what does QED even stand for?
QED. Quod erat demonstratum.
More like questionable efficacy and... It looks like John's getting a text.
It seems John is employing another common technique, holding the phone under the desk.
Doesn't the professor notice that he's sitting in such an awkward position?
No, I don't think he does.
Well, with that important text out of the way, John can finally get back to the lecture. Wait, what's this?
While he was texting, he seemed to have missed quite a bit of information.
You are quite right, Frank.
It's really crunch time now.
Looks like he's not the only one who got lost. Oh, I bet Dara's really regretting her decision to run into this class.
Oh, that doesn't look natural.
That's probably some sort of glandular issue, Frank. Let's be a little more Wait, what? Ooh, you really hate to see that happen. That's the third one this semester.
Yep, they really need to take that rope down.
Well, back to the to-do list. It seems John is already late to his advising appointment with Dr. Karakashian.
You think he would have planned for his class running 15 minutes late?
Freshman mistake.
Freshman mistake indeed.